I think there are some indicators that show that a peak was reached in 2021, let's say, or 2020. So, for example, if you look at mentions of the term racist or white privilege or white supremacy in the New York Times and Washington Post, major newspapers, also in this country, the peak was at that period, and we've seen a big drop. So certainly in terms of mentions in the media, discourse around systemic racism and patriarchy and so on, that's declined. Trans, that's declined. However, and there are some other indicators in the U.S. more than elsewhere. The U.S. picture is a bit different because there have been red state governors like Ron DeSantis and Paxton in Texas and others that have gone explicitly after, for example, ESG requirements, right. And they've gone after DEI in universities, critical race and gender ideology in schools. And then, of course, the Trump administration has made this a feature of its policy priorities for the first year in office. So there we see a bigger change. I mean, we've seen, for example, mentions of DEI in corporate earnings calls have been dropping for several years. So companies are backpedaling off DEI, off ESG, for example. Universities, because they're under pressure, now you could say that's allowed university presidents to do what they've always wanted to do, which was gain some leverage against the radical left activists who tend to dominate university policy making from the academics upward and from the affinity groups and DEI committees. So they've managed to sort of, 150 universities now have declared themselves politically neutral. They've gotten largely getting rid of mandatory diversity statements, which are these political loyalty oaths that you have to swear in order to get research funding or get a job, which screens out anyone who isn't on the progressive left.